Hello everyone, Mrs. Thornton here. So I am going to describe music in the 1930s. But first we have to talk about the 1930s. Notice the old-fashioned car here. It doesn't look like the cars we have today. You probably see these cars once in a while on a Saturday or Sunday going to a car show. Notice what the woman would really get dressed up when they went out, right? Okay, the 1930s was a difficult time. It was almost 100 years ago. That's how long. So if you have great-grandparents or somebody that's living in their 90s right now, they were around in the 1930s. So the Great Depression was terrible. It was a time of a lot of people were poor in the United States. People lost their jobs. It was a tough time. And because of that, people wanted an escape. They wanted to listen to music, things like that. World War II happened. That's a big war that involved the whole world way back in the 1930s. So it was a tough time to be in the 1930s. Music in the 1930s. Now, most people in the 1930s listened to live music. That means they would go to shows and listen to the music because there was no TV back then, things like that. Well, there were movies, but most people didn't go. There was variety shows on the radio. People would sit around the radio and listen to music. The 1930s marked a slow shift in popularity from jazz to swing music. A new style of jazz called big band jazz also became popular. It consisted of 15 to 20 musicians playing instruments like saxophones, trombones, trumpets, and remember our percussion family? We either shake them, beat them, or scrape them. A lot of percussion instruments like cymbals and things like that in jazz bands. You would hear a lot of trumpets playing, a lot of keyboard, right? So, and there were a lot of famous musicians back then, and people in the movies like Fred Astaire, Shirley Temple, people that you don't know. You might remember Judy Garland if you've seen The Wizard of Oz and heard Somewhere Over the Rainbow. That's Judy Garland way back in the 1930s. So the music was jazzy, which it had a beat. And here's your old-fashioned radio. See that? People would sit around and listen to the radio. Very different from today. So when you hear jazz music, you will hear a lot of keyboard and horns, not necessarily that big orchestra sound that we've been listening to this year so far. So that, in a nutshell, is music in the 1930s. Thanks, guys, and talk to you later. Bye.